Hi everyone, I'm Audrey and this is the Lazy Arts channel. Today is actually the day where I finally start to sew the final version of my main bridal gown. I'm heading over to my boyfriend's mom's apartment just after recording this video. A few weeks ago, my sister got me a little trolley bag that is especially for your sewing machine to transport it. It has like straps and padding and everything to protect your machine. So that was a really lucky find. Now I will transport my sewing machine on the tram with that trolley bag and all the other supplies I need for this dress. I already have a dress form there, which is a new purchase for me. I found it secondhand and it's not perfectly my size. It's quite old, so it has like that 50s woman shape, but all its measurements are smaller than mine, so I will be able to alter it later. I don't think I will need to alter it for the dress because I only really needed it for the skirt, so I can put it somewhere that is not like a hanger, and also maybe I will use it for the draping of the bodice, but that shouldn't require it to be the exact same size as myself. Okay, so this is my skirt toile. It has been folded up for a few months, so it's a bit wrinkled. This is the shape I was imagining, and I was so happy that the technique I used really resulted in this look because I really wasn't sure. The dress form is actually a bit taller than me. I think it should be okay to my height with heels, but it seems that this skirt length is not enough, so I will have to make this side longer. And yeah, as you can see, it's like a really nicely developing A-line, and it doesn't have the usual bulk at the waist. I'm still curious how it will look with a softer tulle. Actually, this front and back are kind of the tulle like I will be using here as well. But also I will have the underskirt to keep the bottom part out. So yeah, I'm really curious how it will turn out, and now I will get into it. Here I have my sketch and calculations for the skirt design. I plan on adding a petticoat layer to one of the underskirts, and this is my calculation for that. I'm trying to use up the deadstock tulle fabric I bought for prototyping, and this is how I imagine the layering. Dark ones are colorful layers. I have a nude pink and a brownish gray color I can work with, and the lighter lines are flounces I will be cutting out from the mock-up skirt I made from the white tulle fabric. So this will be white, and they won't be gathered, they will be flounces, which means they are cut in a circular shape, and that's how their outer part is ruffled up because the inner circumference is smaller than the outer one, so the outer one will ruffle up if you lay it out in a line. So these are my original calculations. I've cut out some of the layers because I realized this would take like an insane amount of fabric in length. So I've cut out the bottom parts, like this part here, and I'm only doing 30, 40 and 50 centimeter layers, and each have a 10 centimeter shorter white layer with the flounce. Here I made a calculation on how I can divide my brown, gray and pink tulle fabric into stripes, and I cut this up in advance of starting sewing my dress. And here you can see the calculations for the outermost layer of the skirt, which will be from the soft off-white tulle. Here I have the front skirts, which will be normal half circle skirts and one circle skirt for the center front of the skirt, because I don't want a seam there. I will have 4 half circle skirts for the sides, and then 2 half circle with a length from 115 to 130 centimeter, 2 half circles from 130 to 145, and then 145 to 160. So these will be on both sides the back skirt parts, and this will give out a nice train with a gradual growth in length. These are my final calculations, and this is what I talked about in my mock-up video. For the final skirt, I'm not using different waist circumferences. I will just use this 3.8 centimeter for all my waist radius measurements. If you want to know more about calculating circle skirts, there are many videos and calculators on the internet, so I won't go into that much more than this. I started with the underskirt because I thought it will be a nice lead up for the outer part of the skirt and it will get me into the sewing groove. I started by taking apart my mock-up skirt, so separating the half circle skirts and then folding them up to cut out the flounces for my underskirt. Then I attached my pre-cut colored layers on their side seams and trimmed the excess selvage. I'm alternating the colors differently in all the layers and I'm hoping for a nice color gradient in the end with all the layers overlapping each other, and for the quite strong colors not to be so obvious because they are still quite stronger than the colors I use in the other layers of my skirt. I spent quite a few hours on this part and then I did the same for the flounce white layers. Then it was time to attach the white layer to the colorful ruffle layer. I started this on the ground because I wanted to be really precise, but then I decided it really doesn't matter with the underskirt, so I will just take it to the machine and do the attachment there. The bottoms doesn't have to line up perfectly. So I just went to the machine and lined up the bottom of the flounce with the bottom of the ruffle layer and put their meeting point under the foot of the sewing machine, and I just assembled everything as I was sewing along the length of the fabric. I went as long as I could with the white flounce layer, but it ran out sooner than the length of the color layer. So I stopped there and I just went over to work with something else, which was cutting out the underskirt of the whole skirt construction, because I wanted to check the color layering and see everything together before going further. My underskirt is a pinkish lightweight rayon fabric, which I've ironed out, and then I folded it into half so I could cut out a half circle skirt. Flattening it out took me quite a while, but once I got it flattened, I could move on to measuring out the radius of the waist and then the radius of the whole length of the skirt, which is the radius plus the length that you want the skirt to be. So I layered on all the tulle that will be over the underskirt, and it may seem ridiculous, but yeah, I'm still tossing up between putting the darker layer first or the lighter layer first. Here I have the darker layer first and then the beigey tulle, and here I have the beige inside and the darker one outside. In camera it doesn't really show as well, not the color and not how it behaves with each other, but believe me, it has differences. And now before putting on the white, I was leaning towards having the lighter tulle inside and the darker one outside. But now with the white tulle, I feel like this is a more like smooth layover, and it has like really nice color changes as it moves. Yeah, I think I will go with this one, and it's important because I will put the underskirt layers I worked on until now on the bottom skirt layer. Yeah, I think I will go with this one. So with a bit of a leap, you can see me on the screen cutting out the outermost off-white layers of my skirt, but in between I cut out 2 circle skirts from my brown and light brown fabric, And then I gathered up one of my underskirt layers so I could check how it looks on one of the underskirts. And the light tulle fabric really wasn't faring well with the weight of the underskirt, so I just stopped right there and I took a little bit of time to think, because I wasn't sure this kind of construction will work with all the weight on the lightweight tulle. So then I jumped over to make the outer layer of the skirt, because I just want to check if I have enough volume without any underskirt layers or like petticoat layers that hold out the bottom part of the skirt. So yeah, I just jumped right into cutting out the outermost layers to see if I even need a petticoat layer under it. I started with the front center circle skirt, and then I made half circle skirts for the sides. For these, I just folded over the already cut out quarter skirt shape from the front center skirt, and then I just cut on the same line. This saved me the measuring of the side skirts. In retrospect, you can totally cut out those as circle skirts as well. It just gives you less seams to sew and less seams to be visible. So yeah, in retrospect, I would totally cut out my side skirt panels in full circle skirts as well, and then only switch to half circle skirts when I need to make the gradual lengthening for the train. For the train, I divided my circumference into 8s, and then I added the plus lengths proportionally along these points when measuring out the circumference of the full half circle skirt. This was a bit fiddly, but it gave room for less freehanding and a bit more security in the gradual lengthening. Also, I was doing the cutting in pairs, so I only had to do this 3 times. I carefully labeled all skirt parts and pinned them on my dress form for them to hang out on the bias, and then I returned on the next day and started attaching them by the side seams. For this, my really big advice is just to really pay attention to sew everything together with the right sides. You can't really tell a right side with this fabric, but you just have to be consistent so you won't find yourself with seams on both sides. Also, on this first version, I used a white thread, but later on I found invisible ones, but more on that in my later videos. Lastly, I made a quick gathering stitch by hand, and then I put the whole skirt onto the dress form to check the shape. Okay, so everyone, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the skirt for my wedding dress has finally taken shape. Do you believe what you see? Because I still barely can. Like, it came out just the perfect shape. I may have to redo these seams because they are a bit wiggly. I will try a bit more on my machine, if you can see. But I will just sew along this seam and just cut it off. I won't unpick them. So I'm still thinking about that. And of course the waist of the mannequin is about 10 centimeters less than my own waist, so it will look a little bit different, but I think that will be only for the best because the gathering on the top is a bit too much at this stage. But yeah, I will pad it out and then I will have a final shape. But I'm just loving what I'm seeing, and I think I don't know if you have guessed, but this is without an underskirt. So I would definitely say that I won't put in an underskirt now. I will wait until I can try it on and move in it if it needs some support at my leg. But right now I am like over the moon with how it turned out, and I just really can't believe that I made this. Here's a front view as well. And I'm really curious like how the colors will look when I move. You can see that if there's a bit less white fabric in one place, then you can really see the underlayers. But yeah, I'm curious how it will look when I move it in, and I hope that I will get the effect that it's darker on the top and all white on the bottom, which I think from a distance really is true. So yeah, this is how I stand now. I can't wait to attach this to a waistband and try it on. This is it for today. Thank you for watching until the very end, and I will see you next time. Bye!